I, generally speaking, I'm not in favor of them. I am in favor of open government. I wrote the law. I helped write the law and worked with the Illinois Press Association to ensure that open meetings, when there's a closed session, that it's tape recorded so you can get access if there's a question through a judicial procedure. But in terms of cameras and mics in the courtroom, I'm not a big a proponent of it. I just think it makes too many. It makes the actors out of the participants. I mean, you've seen that. If every lawyer and the judges could understand that their proper role in witnesses, you're not performing. You're in there to do. Well, there are. Let me tell you this. I do believe that they should be publicly available in the appellate court and in the Illinois Supreme Court, not just by case by case. I argued the Marilyn Lemack victims' rights issue before the Illinois Supreme Court, and that was one of the first times we had television cameras in, and I was not affected by them. But I think that's a good idea. But I do think it needs more study. I mean, I'm not a strong opponent of it, but I'm not generally in favor of it either. It's one of those issues where, look, we've seen good things come from them, and we've seen some terrible things. The O.J. Simpson case is probably the... Well, no, but it's not just O.J. It's other cases. That's a dramatic example. But you get people who are acting, and instead of just doing their jobs and being advocates and confining your remarks to what will persuade a jury as opposed to what's going to end up on a 10 o'clock news. I think it gets prosecutors and defense attorneys sometimes to engage in behavior that's questionable because they're looking for the soundbite. They want to see that flashy remark. And I'm a big believer in moderation, that don't walk the line, don't cross the line. And I do think that we've seen in cases, and I've watched it myself. I'm a junkie. I watch TV. I watch court TV. I don't get enough of it at work. And I've seen it where these guys cross the line, and it makes me sick. And they're appealing, but they're appealing to the cameras. They know that soundbite's going to end up on TV, and then they put the case in jeopardy.
They were constantly there, though, on a regular basis, and it was part of a routine.
Would it be overcome? Maybe. I don't have any problem with having tape recorders accessible, because you can get the transcript anyway. So why can't you have an audio recording? But see, the tape recording is not as quote-unquote sexy because it's not going to end up on TV. But the video footage does end up on TV. I think tape recording is fine and having it accessible. In our county, we do, for the misdemeanor courtrooms, we have CourtSmart, where everything's digitally recorded. And I love it. And I'd like to see it in every single courtroom, and I'd like to see it available to the media, that you can just call up and access it. And you pay a fee, of course. We've got to make some money on it, but that you'd pay a fee and you'd have access to it. But the camera does, again, I'd be happy to study it more. I'm fully in favor of open government and having immediately available transcripts to the press. One of the problems that you guys have all the time is you don't have the transcript yet, so you rely upon the interpretations of the participants, and they can sometimes unknowingly, because of their own inherent bias, give you a biased view of what the judge said or what the witness said. If you had a tape available where you could listen to it, I think that'd be a wonderful thing. So, and I think that's a very easy and a very doable compromise, that every court proceeding shall be recorded, and if requested by the media, they shall be available. That's easy. And I'm in favor of it because I think the failure of the media, and it's not your failure because you don't have enough people to cover everything. Some of the worst abuses of the criminal justice system aren't the cases in the felony courtrooms and in the big courtrooms where all the world is watching. They're the low-level cases. They're the DUIs, the DWLRs, the domestic violence cases where, horrid things happen on both sides. Abuses, what minorities get treated differently from the rich defendants with the high-profile lawyers, where cases where the evidence is absolutely rock solid, where there's an acquittal and there should be a guilty finding. And if you had access to the recordings, it'd be easier for you to watch those cases.
I'll let you off the hook.
Okay.